Good morning, guys. In the last session, we have discussed classification of elements based on the electronic configuration as well as based on the properties. And along with that, we have discussed how to predict the period number, group number, and block of the given element based on the electronic configuration as well as the when atomic number is given. In this session, we are going to discuss about the some exceptional electronic configuration in the periodic table. Important exceptions we are going to see. If you understand this concept thoroughly, you will write the electronic configuration of each and every element of the periodic table. And after that, we are going to start about the periodic properties. Now, let us begin with the exceptional electronic configurations. Or we say exceptions in electronic configurations. Right? Generally, as we know, the periodic table is constructed based on the electronic configuration, and every group has a general valency electronic configuration that should be obeyed by all the elements. But even though most of the elements follows the valency electronic configuration, but there are some elements which do not obey this valency electronic configuration and they exhibit some different electronic configuration than that of the expected. Now we will see what are those exceptions. The first important thing is that there are no exceptions. There are no exceptions in S block and P block. All the elements of S block and P block generally obeys their valence electronic configurations, and we have some exceptions. Most of the exceptions are from D block elements, and there are some exceptions in the A block elements. Now we will see what are the exceptions. First thing is no exceptions in S and P block. No exceptions in S and P block elements. We will see the exceptions in D block elements. D block elements. Generally in D block, there are no exceptions in group 3, group 4, group 7 and group 12. The exceptions are found in group 5. What are the elements of group 5? Vanadium, niobium, tantalum, etc. elements of the group 5. What is the atomic number of vanadium? Its atomic number is 22. What is the general electronic configuration of vanadium? Argon, nearest noble gas element 18, 3d3 and 4s, 2s. Right? Now, what is the next element in this? Niobium. Niobium is expected to, as they comes under the same group, it should also exhibit 43 and 5s2 in the same manner as that of the vanadium. But it is found to have 44 and 5s2. This is the exception in the case of group 5 elements. If we talk about group 6, what are the elements of group 6? Chromium, molybdenum, tungsten, etc. comes under group 6. If we are talking about chromium, we are very familiar with the chromium's electronic configuration. I will write only the valence electronic configuration. Here, this will be generally 3d5 and 4s1. When it comes to the molybdenum, it will be 4d5 5s1, and when it comes to the tungsten, it will follow the usual valence electronic configuration of the group, that will be 5d4 and 6s2. What are the exceptions in this group? Chromium and molybdenum. Right? We know the reasons why they exhibit so. Group 8, if you are talking, what are the elements of group 8? Iron, ruthenium, etc. comes under group 8. And what is the atomic number of iron? 26. What is the general valence electronic configuration or valence electronic configuration of the iron? 3d6 and 4s2. This is the usual valence electronic configuration of this group. It is obeying the valence electronic configuration of the group. But when it comes to the ruthenium, it is expected to have 46 and 5s, but it is found to have 47 and 5s1. This is the exception in 18. When it comes to group 9, what are the elements of group 9? Cobalt, rhodium, etc. comes under group 9. 27. the usual valence electron configuration of the group. But when it comes to the rhodium is exhibiting. It is expected to have 47 and 5s, but it is found to have 48 and 5s 1 units. This is the exception in case of group 9s. Right? When it comes to the group 10 units, what are the elements of group 10? This is a very important group in the periodic table. Right? Here, nickel, palladium, platinum are the elements of the group 10. What is the atomic number of nickel? 28. What is valence electronic configuration? 3d8 and 4s 2s. But if you look at the electronic configuration of valence electronic configuration of palladium, it is found to have 3d10 and 5s 0. Very important. It has been asked several times. There are chances it may be asked again, because if you look at this electronic configuration, what is the valence shell? Fifth shell. Is there any electron in the fifth shell? No. This is only the element of the periodic table without any electron in the valence shell. Right? Now, if you are talking about the platinum will exhibit 5d9 and 6s1. These two are the exceptions. And why it is important in the sense, if you observe the electronic configuration of these three, all the three are having different electronic configuration. Right? Now, what is the next group? Group 11. What are the elements of group 11? Copper, silver, gold. We are also familiar with the electronic configuration, valence electronic configuration of copper. How much it is? 3d10 and 4s1. And silver will be 4d10 and 5s1. And iron will be 5d10 and 6s. All the three are having exceptional electronic configuration, because they are expected to have 3d9 and 4s2. This is expected to have 4d9 and 5s2. This is expected to have 5d9 and 6s2. But they are formed to have d10 and s1. Now, these are the exceptions in the d block elements. If you observe in 3d series, what is 3d series? Scandium to zinc. There are no d4 and in 3d series d4 and d9 configurations. d4 and d9 configurations are absent. Right? You don't get d4 and d9 configuration in 3d series. In the same way, if you are talking about 4d series, what are absent here? 3d, 3d6 and 3d9 configurations are absent. Whereas 5d series, here d8 configuration is absent. If you remember absent configurations also, it will be easy to remember the exceptional electronic configuration. Right? These are very important. There is a probability of getting questions from exceptional cases will be more in inorganic chemistry. If you want, you can take a screenshot of this quickly. And we will see the exceptions in the L block element. In case of L block, there are two series we know. Exceptions in L block. That is, what is this? 4f series, or we call it as lanthanides. What is the general valence electronic configuration of L block? N-2 F1240, F1240, N-1, D 0 or 1, and NS2 is. Let's say if you are talking about the lanthanide, it is expected to have 4F1240, 5D 0 or 1, and 6S2. This should be the general valence electronic configuration of lanthanides. And what are the elements of lanthanides? Cerium to lutetium, cerium 58 to rotation 70 are called as lanthanides. Here among this cerium, gadolinium and lutetium are found to have D1 configuration. What is mean by this? These three elements only. Among these 14 elements, cerium, gadolinium, lutetium will have the D1. But what is the general valence electronic configuration? F has to be 1 to 14 and D has to be 0 or 1. Right? In all these elements, there will be only one electron in the D section. And the remaining elements of lanthanides are having D0 configuration. For example, if you see cerium, its atomic number is 58. We write the electronic configuration, it will be xenon 54. After xenon, what you get? You get 6s2, and what it has to be? It will be D1. That means 5D1, and how many electrons are remained? 54 plus 3, 57. One electron is remained. That one electron goes to the 4. Suppose if you are writing the next element, pristonium, which is 59, what it will become? Xenon 6s2. This will be fixed. And what is this? It comes under the remaining elements. What it has to be? 5D0. And the remaining elements will go to the F orbital. Is that clear? 54 plus 5 will become 59. This is how you can write the electronic configuration of all the elements of the lanthanides if you remember these D1 and D0 configurations. When it comes to the actinides are we call them as 5s series. What is the general electronic configuration of this 5s series? Right? It will be 5f 1 to 14, 16, 0 or 1, 7s 2 units. Alright? Here in this protactinium, uranium, neptunium, curium and lawrencium are found to have D1 configuration, and remaining are having D0 configuration. In the similar manner, you can write the electronic configuration of all the actinide series. The important exception in the actinide series is thorium. What is the atomic number of thorium? 90. Right? Its electronic configuration is radon. Nearest Nobilius element is radon, 86 its atomic number. If 86 is gone, how many electrons are remain? 4. 7s2, 5f0, 6b2. Right? Are you getting this? Here, there is no electron in the F orbital. Even though the thorium is, this is what you need to remember here. Thorium is an important example in the exceptions. Even though it is considered as an F block element, there is no electron in the F orbital. That is the exception. Its electronic configuration will be 7s2, 5 plus 0 and 62. These are the important exceptions in the periodic table, where the probability of getting question from this exception is more. So that you need to be careful about this. Right? Now we will start about the periodic properties. What is meant by periodic properties? The properties that repeats after fixed intervals are called as periodic properties. The advantage of the periodic table is this is only when you are arranging the electrons according to when you are arranging the elements according to their electronic configuration, right? All the elements having similar valency electronic configuration will fall on one line, which we call group, and all these elements are found to have the same properties, right? And these properties will repeat after fixed intervals. What are the fixed intervals? Here, in a group, the two consecutive elements will have the same properties after every 2, 8, 8, 18, 18 and 32 elements after. These 2, 8, 8, 18, 18, 32 are called as magic number, after which the properties of the elements will repeat. This phenomenon is called as periodicity. Because of this only, the table of elements is called as periodic table. Right? Now, what is meant by periodic property? Property or properties that repeats after fixed intervals. After fixed intervals are called as periodic properties. What are these intervals? That is 2, 8, 18, 18 and 32. The two consecutive elements of a group will have the similar properties after every 2, 8, 8, 18, 18 and 32 elements. Now, these periodic properties are classified into two types. That is atomic periodic properties and molecular periodic properties. Atomic periodic properties and molecular periodic properties. Now let us see what is meant by atomic periodic properties and molecular periodic properties. Properties that can be measured or calculated by a single atom. From a single atom are called as atomic properties. Properties that cannot be measured for a single atom. That means these properties are measured for a group of atoms. The molecule itself stands for a group of atoms. Are called as molecular properties. What are the examples of this? Atomic properties and molecular properties. If you see, the best example is this. We are going to discuss Z effect, ionization energy, electron gain enthalpy, electron negativity, screening effect. These are all the examples of atomic periodic properties. Whereas in case of molecular properties, atomic radius, melting point, boiling point, etc. are the molecular periodic properties. We will discuss one by one. First of all, we will start with the Z effect, or we call it as effective nuclear charge. It is denoted with Z effect. We know what is meant by nuclear charge. What is meant by nuclear charge? The charge of the nucleus is called as nuclear charge. How the charge of the nucleus comes? With the presence of protons. Nuclear charge is nothing but atomic number. Because of that, protons, nuclear charge is nothing but number of protons. Because of that, it is denoted with the Z, that is atomic number. And here we are representing the effective nuclear charge with Z effect. Let us see what is meant by this Z effect. Generally, there are different electron systems. An electron system can be single electron system or multi-electron system. In case of single electron system, what is meant by single electron system? The system which is having only one electron is called as single electron system. Right? This is called as single electron system. What are the examples of single electron systems? Such as hydrogen, helium plus, lithium plus 2, beryllium plus 3, etc. are called as single electron system. In case of single electron system, the complete nuclear force of attraction will be present on the one electron. Or otherwise, this one electron is experiencing all the nuclear force of attraction of the nucleus. Whereas, in case of multi-electron system, what is meant by multi-electron system? The system which is having more than one electron will be called as multi-electron system. In case of multi-electron system, there will be two or more than two electrons, in which, suppose, let us take some electrons here. This is a multi-electron system. There are more than one electron is there. Here, all the nuclear force of attraction is not experienced by one electron. Right? Suppose, if you want to determine the nuclear force of attraction on this electron present in the outermost shell, here this electron will not have the complete nuclear force of attraction on it. Why? Because if you see, there are some electrons in the inner electrons which will repel each other. There are inter-electronic repulsions between the electrons because electron will have the same charge, and we know that like particles will repel each other. These electronic repulsion will act as a screen or shield and preventing certain portion of nuclear force of attraction on the valence electron or testing electron. This phenomenon is called as screening or shield. This is a very important phenomenon which will repeatedly discuss throughout all the periodic properties. Because of that you need to understand this thoroughly. What is screening? Screening means that repulsions caused by inner electrons will create a screen between nucleus and testing electron or differentiating electron. They are acting as a screen. They are preventing certain portion of the nuclear force of attraction. Assume that there are 50 protons in the nucleus. This electron is expected to attracted by 50 protons of nuclear charge, but some nuclear force of attraction will be expended in overcoming the repulsions created by the inertial electrons. This is called as screen. They are acting as a screen. Suppose if I place a screen in between the camera and the board, you will not be able to see. Because there will be a screen which prevent the light. Or if I place a semi-permeable membrane, you can see partially. Right? This will be called as screen. Right? What is mean by screen? This phenomenon is called as screening or shielding. What is mean by repulsions caused by inner electrons act as screen or shield between nucleus and testing electron or differentiating electron. Right? And what is meant by Z effect? Effective nuclear charge. It is the actual nuclear force of attraction present on testing or differentiating electron. What is meant by testing? What are the elements you are talking about? Suppose if there are few more cells and few more electrons, if you are talking about the nuclear force of attraction on this electron will not have any screen for this electron. Are you getting this? Electrons only in the same shell and inner shell will cause the repulsions. Electron present in outer shell or above shells will not have the repulsions of this electron in preventing the nuclear force of attraction. This is an important thing you need to understand. This Z effect is given by Z minus sigma, where Z is atomic number and sigma is screening or shielding constant, which is calculated for different inertial electrons. It is also called as Slater's constant. It gives the extent of screen. And we don't have the calculation of sigma in the syllabus, so that we are not discussing sigma. If you are seeing the variation of effective nuclear charge along the periods and groups, in periods left to right, Z effect increases. What happens if the Z effect increases? The electrons present in the outer shell will be strongly pulled towards the nucleus, so that the size will decrease. And if you are talking about the in groups, top to bottom, Z effect will remain same or decreases. Actually it remains same, but as the size increases, extent of attraction ultimately decreases. This is the variation of the Z effect in the periods and in the groups. This is an important factor which we will repeatedly discuss in the description of the other periodic properties. Hope it is clear so far. We move to the next periodic property, that is atomic radius. What is the next periodic property? Atomic radius. Atomic radius. What is meant by atomic radius? Suppose if you have an atom, it has n number of cells, something like this. Right? They will be named as first cell, second cell, third cell, or K, L, M, and cells. Conceptually, this atomic radius is defined as the distance from the nucleus to the outermost shell. The distance from the nucleus to the outermost shell is called as atomic radius. It is represented with the R. Conceptually, right? But determination of exact atomic radius of an atom is actually not possible. Why? Because there are some limitations. What are the limitations? Determination of exact atomic radius is actually not possible because atom is too small. First thing. Second is that it does not have a fixed bond. Fixed bond. What is mean by this? In an atom there can be n number of cells. The number of cells in an atom will be infinite. So how can you go for the bond? Alright. The third thing is that electron is wave nature. Because of the wave nature of the electron, you cannot measure the exact value of the atomic radius. Because of that reason, atomic radius is measured in bonded state. Where it is measured in bonded state. Right? Based on the nature of bond, because of that only atomic radius is included in the molecular periodic properties. Nature of bond, there are different radius. That is, it can be a covalent radius, or it can be van der Waals radius, or it can be metallic radius, or it can be ionic radius. What is this? Ionic radius. Right? We will see one by one. What is mean by? What is the first one? Covalent radius. Covalent radius means, right? Generally, how the covalent bond is formed? By the overlapping of atomic orbitals. If you are taking a diatomic molecule, here the distance between the internuclear distance between these two bonded atoms will be called as bond length, which is denoted with B. Here, the covalent radius is defined as half of the internuclear distance. Internuclear distance. Right? That means we will denote the covalent radius with RC. RC will be equal to D by 2. What is this? Internuclear distance. If you are talking about in single bonded molecules, there can be two types of single bonded molecules: homo atomic and hetero atomic. What is meant by homo atomic? Atoms formed by same types of elements is called as homo. In this case, distance will be equal to Ra plus Ra, right? So that we give the radius RC will be dA by dA on 2. In case of heteroatomic, there are two cases. If electron negativity difference is less, then the distance between dA and dB. Suppose if you are assuming as two different atoms, how it will look? Two different atoms, this will be A and this will be the bond, which is denoted with dB. If the electron negativity difference is too small, here this D will be equal to RA plus RB, radius of R and radius of B. If electron negativity difference is more, then this distance of A and B will not be equal to RA plus RB. Then here distance of A and B will be equal to RA plus RB minus 0.09 into chi A minus chi B. Here this chi A and chi B represents the electron negativity of A and B. This is how you need to determine the distance of two heteroatomic molecules, right? And what will be the covalent? This will be equal to half of the dA by 2, right? This is how we calculate the covalent radius in a covalent compounds. Now, what is the second one? The second one is van der Waals radius. What is van der Waals radius? We know that this van der Waals radius is the second bond. This is not actually a primary bond. It's a bond which is present, or it is the force of attraction which exists between the non-bonded atoms of molecules. How we can define this? It is half of the distance between two spatially closed non-bonded atoms of molecules. Suppose if you have a molecule like this, if these are two spatially closed molecules A and B, this is a molecule by diatomic molecule, right? And what will be the van der Waals radius will be equal to? This is the distance between B and B. So the van der Waals radius will be represented with RB. This will be equal to, what is this? dB by D upon 2. Right? It is defined as half of the distance between the. It is in the distance half of the distance of between the two spatially closer non-bonded atoms of, what is this? Or molecules. Right? Internuclear distance. Take it as internuclear distance between the two spatially closer non-bonded atoms of molecules. The important thing to be noted on board van der Waals radius is that it is only defined in solid state. It is only defined in solid state. Second is that it is not defined for metals. For metals we don't define any atomic van der Waals radius, right? It is larger than covalent radius and metallic radius. For noble gases, right, atomic radius is measured by van der Waals radius. These are some important points to be noted. Right? And what is the next one? Metallic radius. It is defined as half of the internuclear distance of two adjacent atoms in metallic lattice. What is mean by metallic lattice? In solid state we have studied already metallic lattice. If you assume this is the metallic lattice, here these are the two adjacent lattice, and it is their internuclear distance. And this metallic radius is defined as half of the internuclear distance of the adjacent metal atoms. Right? Now, let us see the relationship between these van der Waals radii and metallic radii. Covalent radii is the smallest one, followed by metallic radii and followed by van der Waals. Van der Waals radii is the largest radius because it is non-bonded state. Now let us see the trends. Trends in atomic radii. How it varies along the period and how it varies down the road. Now we are talking about the variation of in periods. In periods, atomic radii, in periods from left to right, what happens? Z effect increases. If Z effect increases, what happens? Ultimately, atomic radii decreases. So what we can conclude? Left to right in a period, atomic radius decreases because Z effect increases. Suppose if we are talking about the second period, what are the elements of second period? Lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. So left to right, what happens? Gradually size decreases. And what about the neon? Remember that in every period the largest atom will be the noble gas element. That means neon will be the largest atom in the second period. Now if you are talking about the variation in groups, right? Down the group, number of shells increases. So that what happens? Size increases. That means we are talking about the group 1. What are the elements? Lithium, sodium, potassium, rubidium, cesium, francium. Down the group, what happens? As the new shell increases, right? Second period, third period, fourth period, fifth period, sixth period, seventh period. As the number of shells increases, atomic size increases. Now let us see the exceptions. This is a very important thing. In each and every trend, we need to remember the exceptions. Exception in case of d block elements. That is in 3D series we see. In 3D series we see. What is 3D series? It is scandium, titanium, vanadium, chromium, molybdenum, manganese, iron, cobalt, nickel, copper, zinc. What are their configurations? D1, D2, D3, D5, D5, D6, D7, D8, D10, D10. If you observe here, from scandium to vanadium, right? From scandium to vanadium, what happens? Z effect increases, so that size decreases. From chromium to cobalt, right? Here, the number of electrons are increased as well as inter-electronic repulsions are increased. Z effect will be equal to inter-electronic electron repulsions. That means what? Here, Z effect will try to decrease the size and inter-electronic repulsions will try to increase the size. As these two opposite factors are equal, here what happens? Size remains same. Generally we expect decrease in the size from left to right, but here size, if you see, it remains same. Right? Now from here to here, electron repulsions are greater than Z effect. So that what happens? Size increases slightly. That means in the d block elements, in the transition series, there is no regular trend in the atomic weight. So overall what we can write? Scandium, overall decreasing order will be scandium followed by titanium followed by zinc followed by vanadium followed by copper, which will be equal to chromium, which will be equal to manganese, and which will be equal to iron which is greater than cobalt and least will be nickel. This is the decreasing order of size in the 3d6. An important exception. When it comes to exception in the groups, if you are talking about the group 13, what is group 13? Boron, aluminium, gallium, indium, thallium. Down the group, what is expected in the case of atomic radii? Atomic radii should increase down the group. But if you see the decreasing or increasing order of atomic radii in case of group 13 elements, boron is smaller than gallium, aluminium, indium and thallium. What is the exception here? The exception comes in case of gallium and aluminium. Right? Gallium is expected to be larger than the aluminium, but it is found to be smaller than aluminium. And the size difference in between indium and thallium is also too small. This is a very, very important exception. You will be asked several times. So, what is the reason for this? The reason for this is that DD contraction. What is mean by DD contraction? The reason for this is lanthanide contraction. In the case of screening effect, if you are talking about this screening order, it will be more for s orbital, followed by p orbital, followed by d orbital, followed by f orbital. Because of this shape, the electrons present in the s orbital will exhibit more screening effect. It gradually decreases from p to d and f. This is effective screening and this is very less effective, poor shielding. Electrons present in d and f orbital will exhibit very poor shielding. What is meant by poor shielding? They will not prevent the nuclear force of attraction effectively. So that what happens? The nuclear force of attraction on the valency shells, valence electrons increases, size decreases. Right? This phenomenon in case of lanthanide elements is called as lanthanide contraction. Because of this lanthanide contraction, the size of lanthanides and elements appearing after lanthanum will be smaller than the expected. Right? So this is an important example. In the same way, before gallium there are 10 electrons that have gone into the d orbital, and this d orbitals are poor shielding. Because of the poor shielding, they will not prevent the nuclear force of attraction effectively, so that there is a lot of nuclear force of attraction to the gallium, which will become smaller than the aluminium. Right? And this is the exception in case of atomic size. These are two important exceptions you need to remember them. And we will briefly discuss about the ionic radiation. The last one is that, what is that? Ionic radiation. What is ionic radiation? It can be defined as distance from nucleus to outermost shell of ion. What is mean by ion? Ion means it can be either. There are two types of ions. What are the two types of ions? It can be either cation or it can be either anion. What is mean by cation? When you remove an electron from the neutral atom, it will result in the formation of ion, which is called as cation. The ion carrying positive charge will be called as cation. When you add an electron to the neutral atom, it will generate a negatively charged particle, which will be called as anion. The ion which is having negative charge will be called as anion. Here, if you compare the size of the neutral atom and cation, size of the neutral atom and anion, generally if you see what is happening, number of protons being same, electrons are decreasing. Whether what happens? Z effect effect increases. If the Z effect increases, size decreases. That means what we can say, radius of atom will be larger than radius of cation. What is this? This is the radius of atom. Whereas here number of protons being same, it is accepting an electron. So that what is happening? Number of electrons are increased. By that what happens? Z effect decreases. If the Z effect decreases, what happens? Radius increases. So that what we can say, radius of atom will be less than radius of anion. And what is the overall relation? Radius of cation will be smaller than radius of atom followed by radius of anion. This is the order of ionic and atomic rate. For example, if I give I minus, I plus, what will be the increasing or decreasing order? As we know, always positively charged particle will be smaller than neutral atom followed by negatively charged. If in case of same element, this ionic or ionic radius will be directly proportional to charge of anion, and it will be inversely proportional to charge of cation. As the charge of the cation increases, ionic radius decreases. As the charge of the anion increases, ionic radius increases. For example, if you are talking about chromium plus 2, chromium. If you are talking about iron, Fe plus 2, Fe plus 3, what happens? As the charge of the cation increases, what happens? Size decreases. By that, what we can write? Fe plus 3 is smaller than Fe plus 2 followed by Fe. In the same manner, if you are talking about N minus 2, N minus 3, what happens? As the negative charge increases on anion, size increases. Right? If you are talking about the trends, in ionic radius, what is the trend? It generally follows the general trend in periods. Variation of ionic radius in periods, left to right. What happens? Ionic radius decreases. Why? Because Z effect increases. In groups, what happens? Top to bottom, ionic radius increases because number of shells increases. And from this, we need to discuss an important aspect: isoelectronic species. What is mean by isoelectronic species? You are very aware of this, very well aware of this. Species having same number of electrons are called as isoelectronic species. In case of isoelectronic species, the ionic radius will be inversely proportional to atomic number. What is mean by isoelectronic species? The species which are having same number of electrons will be called as isoelectronic species. In case of, for example, let me give, first of all, in case of isoelectronic species, the ionic radius will be inversely proportional to atomic number. What is this? Atomic number. If you see an example, I can take Na plus, Mg plus 2, Al plus 3, N minus 2, O minus 2, F minus. Here, what are the atomic number of all these elements? 10, 12, 13, 7, 8, 9. If you count the number of electrons in all this, generally neutral sodium atom will consist 11 electrons. Plus 1 means 1 electron is lost, so the number of electrons will become 10. Magnesium has lost 2 electrons, so becomes 10. 12 minus 2 will be 10. it has last 3, the number of electrons remaining will be 10. Actually, atomic number of nitrogen is 7 and it has gained 3 electrons. So number of electrons becomes 10. Atomic number of oxygen is 8 and it has gained 2 electrons. So the number of electrons becomes 10. Atomic number of fluorine is 9, it has gained 1 electron. So the number of electrons becomes 10. So if you observe in all these species, there are 10 electrons, hence they are considered as isoelectronic species. So in case of isoelectronic species, the ionic radii will be inversely proportional to atomic number. If I ask to write them according to their increasing order of ionic radii, so what will be the order? You need to relate with the atomic numbers. What is the relation? Higher the atomic number, smaller will be the size. Smaller the atomic number, larger will be the size. So with respect to what we can write here, what will be the order here? Right. The smallest will be Al plus 3, followed by Mg plus 2, 13, 12, followed by Na plus, followed by what is this? F minus, followed by O minus 2, followed by N minus. This is the increasing order in case of isoelectronic species. This relation should be linear. Ionic radii of isoelectronic species will be inversely proportional to the atomic number. We'll get n number of examples on this. If you remember this criteria, you can solve any given example. That's all for today's lecture. Thank you.